Hey there fight fans, today in this video, on October 21st in Abu Dhabi at UFC 294, Khamzat Chimaev will be facing off against Paulo Costa. This was announced by the well-known analyst and former UFC fighter, Chael Sonen.
Okay, that's not a joke. That's a big fight. It's a big deal.
But that's not all. Also at this event, Makhachev will be fighting in the main event. Also later in this video, Adesanya threw an after party, and Alex Pereira, well, he probably wasn't likely to appreciate the footage that was seen. Also, who will be Adesanya's next opponent? Adesanya was unexpectedly challenged by the former light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz. So, the most interesting thing about that one is that Blachowicz might want to go down to middleweight. So, needless to say, there are a lot of exciting fights ahead of us. But before we kick off the video, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel, as it helps to motivate us create some new and interesting videos. Thank you so much in advance. In the new edition of the popular MMA Hour program, hosted by Ariel Helwani, former UFC fighter, now expert and analyst Chael Sonen, said that Khamzat Chimaev will be fighting Paulo Costa in Abu Dhabi, where Makhachev will be at the top of the card. Now, as you already know, Paulo Costa has agreed to a new contract with the UFC. He was supposed to be fighting Robert Whittaker, but that situation quickly calmed down, said Sonnen. So it does indeed seem plausible, as Chimaev didn't get the option to be a substitute in the welterweight championship bout between Leon Edwards and Colby Covington on July 22nd. The reserve fighter for that fight will actually be Gilbert Burns, whom Khamzat defeated a year ago. The middleweight division is currently stagnant, and it is Boers who could become a potential rival for Adesanya. However, in order for that to happen, he needs to be able to beat one of the former fighters. Now, Costa does seem like the perfect candidate, especially in terms of media appeal. Paulo is a trash talker, and moreover, the Brazilian has already fought for the title against Adesanya and is now 5th in the middleweight rankings. But most importantly, there is already some animosity between Costa and Chimaev. However, it is worth recognizing that the Brazilian does not seem to have any intention of shying away from a fight with Khamzat. As for the reaction to the rumors from Chael Sonnen, Paulo commented on social media saying, "Guess who's next?" containing 4 emojis with the lips, a cap, a pie, and a rat. Chimaev has a scar above his upper lip and almost always wears a hat. Now, following that, Costa made another post saying, "Calm down, guys. We are still coordinating the last details with the Chechen rat." Chimaev has not entered the octagon for the last 7 months, and the fans certainly are missing him. Even without taking into account the conflict of the fighters, that fight promises to be a barn burner. Chimaev rises to full-fledged middleweight for the first time, where he is immediately then thrown under the most physically strong fighter in the division in Paulo Costa. Now, Costa has great ground defense. His stand-up, well, he's also got some incredible power, and his jaw, well, it's not made of glass. So, of course, Chimaev has his trump cards. The main thing about the duel between Khamzat and Paulo is that it does not fall apart. Unfortunately, both guys are famous for the fact that they cannot make weight, and so there could be an unexpected scandal. But we will hope that they do make weight, because we really want to see this fight. It's time for Chimaev to return to the octagon before the level of hype around him decreases, and Costa, well, he needs to work out his brand new contract with the UFC. So let's hope that the fighters give us this fight. Now guys, if this fight does take place though, who will you be rooting for? Let us know down in the comments. And moving on. After Adesanya knocked out Alex Pereira, Adesanya threw a party in Miami. Israel and his entourage partied in a way that even the king of parties, Conor McGregor, would have envied. Naturally, after such a victory, Adesanya and his inner circle went off to a nightclub, where his arrival immediately sparked a giant party. Now, the music was turned on, the crowd carried Izzy in their arms, and among some of the guests was Kamaru Usman, who was enjoying the evening. But the strangest moment of the evening came when Hall of Famer Chuck Liddell appeared next to Adesanya. Why is that strange, you ask? Well, because as you might know, it was Liddell who had trained Pereira for the fight against Adesanya, and Alex even got a haircut in honor of the legendary American. However, this did not prevent the beginning of a friendly relationship between Chuck and Israel. The champion greeted Liddell with a bow and then invited him to continue to party, which Chuck happily obliged, and even started dancing with Izzy and Usman. And also, you might have noticed that Chuck said something in Adesanya's ear. Honestly, he was probably just congratulating the champ and told him what a cool knockout it was. So therefore, I think Pereira is unlikely to appreciate that, in which the coach who helped prepare him for the fight is rejoicing in the victory of his opponent. It does look kind of strange. Now, as for Adesanya himself, he really did deserve all of it. Izzy proved to everyone that the middleweight crown is rightfully his. This victory marked a very important moment in Adesanya's career, highlighting his dominance in the weight class. And now with the championship belt back around his waist, Israel Adesanya and his fans can look forward to the future, and many are anticipating more victories and achievements along the way. But who will be Adesanya's next opponent? Well, apparently there is currently not a talk of another fight between him and Pereira. Even Adesanya himself was considering this chapter closed for now, and UFC President Dana White foresees a different development. In general, the next contender has yet to be decided, but Israel already has at least one option, and you could call it unexpected. Shortly after the win, the former UFC light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz announced his desire to fight him. Now, if you do recall, they already crossed paths back in the octagon in March 2021, when Adesanya tried to become double champ and take the title from Blachowicz. But it didn't work out. Blachowicz exposed Israel's problems with the fight and dominated him on the ground, winning on points.
First of all, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Why you win? To take down. Take down.
Yeah. Thank you. I watch your fight.
And the most interesting thing now is that Blachowicz wants to go down to middleweight. He said, "Congratulations on a successful rematch, Israel. If you want to try another one, you know where to find me. Middleweight this time for your title." Now, if you recall, Jan could have been the light heavyweight champ last year, but ended up having a draw for the vacant belt with Magomed Ankalaev. That is all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And remember, this is very important, so thank you in advance.